After what feels like months of waiting, we finally got a new update to Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, simply titled Title Update number 3, which addresses a number of issues, some of which I will discuss in this video. Avatar Theory here, hope you're doing well and having a fantastic day, and if you want to check out the full patch notes for yourself, the link to this will be in the pinned comment and the description below, as there is quite a lot of updates which addresses improvements, global updates, technical updates, user interface balancing, main quests as well as side quests, and much more. Now, like I said, I'm not going to go through everything because it is quite an extensive list, but the two most important things you need to know is that this title update number 3 will be launched on March the 1st, and the size of this update for PS5 will be 7.1 gigs, for Xbox Series X and S will be 9.4 gigs, while for PC it will be 9.6 gigabytes. Now, some of the notable improvements to talk about is that they added the option to enable motion aiming with the DualSense controller, which is really useful, and as I play mostly on the PS5, this is a big improvement. It also added new motion blur settings to control the overall strength, added the ability to control camera motion blur separately from object motion blur, provided the option to hide gear level and mods, and one big thing for me is that stashed items can now be accessed directly when using the crafting table, cooking station and community basket, which will save a lot of time. They also made the combat challenge on medium and low difficulties more accessible, because a lot of people have complained that this game is simply too difficult, so I do think that they addressed some of the difficulty problems this game has. They also improved the usability and introduction of the SID tool, which will be really helpful, and improved NaviSense navigation to make it easier to spot characters and smaller objectives, which sometimes can be a bit overwhelming when using the NaviSense. They also improved visibility of navigation clues when using NaviSense to make it easier to find the clues belonging to an investigation, and in my opinion that is quite a big improvement, because one of the big problems I have with investigation challenges is that simply you don't really know where to go. I try not to use NaviSense much when doing these investigations, but sometimes I just don't know where to go, and using the NaviSense it doesn't really show me where to go either. So it is of course a bug in the game, and the fact that they improved this is going to be really helpful. They also made tweaks to enemy reinforcements calling to make it easier to interrupt the RDA from pressing their alarm. One major thing that I'm very happy about, because sometimes even though I kill the enemy that's gonna call reinforcements, for some reason the alarm is still pressed and I have no idea who presses the alarm or where this enemy is doing it. So yeah, another major bug in this game that's been tweaked. And also they made tweaks to stealth gameplay to make it easier to return to stealth when an enemy spots the player. Again, massive improvement, because this game's stealth was not what it's supposed to be, and you know, a lot of times I would just go into stealth and I'd be hiding behind a rock and the enemy still spots me. I don't know how that happens, but I am very excited to play the game with these updates and just see how it improves from, well, the game how it is now. Now I also quickly want to run through some of the global updates, as it really makes the game better from what it seems. And the first thing is that they improved the aim assist for the assault rifle and shotgun at small targets. They also improved the visibility of the arrow visual effects trail for the heavy bow at long distances, and it is now possible to harvest arrow stick bushes and Dapopet pods while riding. One thing that I'm very happy about, because it was annoying having to get off your mount every time. But speaking of mounts, they increased the maximum dire horse riding speed, which I'm very happy about, because I feel that the dire horse was very underutilized in the game. I would just use my Ikran all the way because I just felt that the dire horse was too slow. So the fact that they're increasing the speed of it is going to be very helpful. The dire horse riding speed will now be affected by the ground type, granting a small speed bonus or penalty. Very interesting choice that they made this. But again, I'm very happy that they just improved the dire horse overall, and improvements to the dire horse riding animation. Again, very happy about this. They also improved aiming stability while mounted, improved mounted aiming with bows, and added player flinch reaction while mounted on a dire horse. So overall, playing on a dire horse is going to be vastly different than what it is now. It's just unfortunate that this update came so late, because I know many people are already finished with this game and just waiting for the DLC, which I will talk about towards the end of this video. They also improved stability when swapping weapons from human to Navi while on the Ikran, improved looping weapon stow animation when throw grenade interrupts a quick grab or harvest animation, stability improvements to swimming, harvesting, climbing, jumping, traversal, and weapon locomotion blending, improved local player foot alignment to uneven terrain, improved overall player co-op animation, pouch capacity for gear and weapon materials and cook ingredients increased by 15, really helpful, and also stash capacity has been increased from 200 to 250. Improved the reaction timing for multiple interactable objects, improved the visibility of overflow loot piles, and overflow loot piles will no longer open automatically after interacting with the container when having full inventory. So overall, a lot of small things that when I play this game, small things that I notice, small things that kind of annoy me, and it just seems that they, well, are fixing most of it. So I'm very excited about this again. I'm very happy that they're addressing all of these issues, and I really cannot wait to play this game now with all of these updates coming tomorrow. The final few that I want to run through is that they added an additional Navi names for creature and plants. Audio logs will now automatically play when picked up in the world. Thank you for this. This was one of the biggest problems I had. The fact that I had to listen to audio logs manually. I had to basically pause the game when listening to audio logs. I skipped a lot of the audio logs that I didn't want to listen to because I just had to stop the game. And I mean, going back to games like BioShock, which came out in 2006, you could pick up audio logs and the game would just continue playing. You didn't need to pause the game essentially. And this was one major gripe I had with this game. It was one of the things that I would have mentioned in my review, but now that they fixed this, I'm very happy. But several improvements to haptic effects throughout the game, improved the triggers and timing of dialogue scenes. Very happy about that because a lot of the audio would be a bit off. Polished the placement of various quest objective markers, general login out issues fixed in several quests, general UI usability improvements as well as quality of life improvements related to sorting items, quest breadcrumbing, and shortcut navigation. So a lot of this is just, it feels like a headache that's just going to be gone when playing this game that just annoyed me. I mean, I love Frontiers of Pandora, but there's a lot of things that gave me massive headaches when playing this game, and it seems like this massive update is going to fix a lot of that. Now, they also talk about the technical fixes, which I'm not going to go through because there is quite a lot. Technical issues like added new fog blur graphics setting, fixed motion blur, improved NPC clipping and flickering issues, added a motion blur option for performance graphics mode on consoles. On Xbox Series S and X, it improved the FSR3 artifacting, just overall major graphical improvements on PC and console, which I'm very happy about. I mean, as I said, I play this mostly on PS5, so I'm very happy that the performance of the game is going to be better. And on a side note, with the rumored PS5 Pro releasing at the end of the year, I'm really wondering if they're going to push this game even more when the PS5 Pro launches, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, they also talk about the user interface, which is just small things that improve, such as adding the option to mark all as read on the system menu, provide the option to hide gear levels and mods, and so on. Again, I would recommend you read through these patch notes yourself. They also talk about balancing, where they make certain challenges more easily accessible. Stuff like improve the pathing to the Resistance HQ so it's easier to find. And then they also mention that main quests and side quests that are fixed and just improved. I know a lot of people are stuck with game-breaking bugs where some of the quests just doesn't want to activate or continue. This is going to fix a lot of that. A very long list of quests that they talk about. And then also they close off by talking about additional bug fixes. For example, fix the Amp Grenadier not playing any recoil animation when shooting their pistol, fixed in-game news not displaying under certain conditions in the menu, and much more. As I said, I recommend you follow the link and just read through it yourself, but I am very happy about this update. Probably one of the best updates that this game is going to get in its lifespan. I mean, probably the next update we'll get is when the first DLC releases, but this is a major update and going to improve a lot of things in terms of animation, the way things flow, mission objectives, and much more. This is probably the update that me and many players have waited for, and as I said, the next update is likely going to arrive once we see the first DLC, and considering that we got an update shortly after the release of the game, so in December, this coming, well, the 1st of March, so it's January and February, so you have 2 months after the release of the game. Well, considering the game released in the beginning of December, it's almost 3 months. My theory, or if I had to speculate, I can see the first DLC releasing towards the end of April, so you have the whole of March and most of April, and then you have the first DLC, which will likely arrive with a next title update, unless we get some small hotfixes in between. But I can easily see the first DLC launching towards the end of April, maybe even in May, and then the second DLC releasing around September. And hopefully after that we will still get possibly a full expansion that ties in with the third Avatar movie, but time will tell on that one. But what do you think of Title Update 3? Let me know in the comments below, and for more Avatar content, have a look at the rest of my channel. Until next time, have a fantastic day and stay safe.